If you visit a salon with a strict rule that mirrors or anything that has a reflection is not allowed, will you keep to the rule, or you will take your leave? Let's find out in Yasha's story. Yasha owns a hair salon in the town of Umuzi. She was known for her incredible speed in braiding hair. She could braid up to 10 clients a day because she didn't spend more than an hour on each hair, no matter the hairstyle you bring. Hairstyles that take up to a whole day or two. With Yasha, you can get the hairstyle done in just 1 hour. People loved Yasha's fast, beautiful and clean braids. Her salon was always full of customers because they loved the fact that they can just come to Yasha's salon and get their hairs done in no time. They praised her for her skills. But there was one thing at Yasha's salon that you must keep to if you must make your hair with Yasha, which is the no mirror rule. Yasha was so strict with this rule that once you get to her salon door, she will warn you strictly, search your bag to ensure that you don't have anything that has a reflection with you. And people always wondered why she kept this rule so strictly, but I didn't bother to ask. As far as they get their hairs done fast, beautiful and clean. Dear viewer, have you ever come across a vendor that has this kind of a rule like that of Yasha? One day, a beautiful young lady called Adu visited Yasha's salon for the first time. I guess she hasn't heard about the rule of no mirror before. As she got to Yasha's salon, they checked her bag as usual, but forgot to check her pockets. As soon as she sat down for Yasha to start braiding her hair, she brought out a small glass that has a reflection, just because she wanted to describe the hairstyle that she wanted to Yasha. And immediately Yasha sighted the mirror. She started screaming, "How dare you? Who asked you to bring a glass into my salon? Weren't you told that reflections are not allowed?" And immediately Ado responded, "I'm really sorry. I didn't know about the rule." Ado threw the glass away outside. Just because she really wanted to make her hair in less than 1 hour, she didn't bother to ask Yasha why she had such a ridiculous rule in a hair salon. And she sat down and got her hair braided in a very short time and left happily. Dear viewer, you must be wondering why Yasha had such a rule in her hair salon. Well, keep listening to this story. Before I continue, this is a plea to you, my awesome viewers who haven't subscribed to my channel, to please be a part of my growth. I'm begging you, click on that subscribe button, please. And if you are a returning subscriber, hey, welcome back. I am so happy to have you here. Thank you so much. Now let's go back to the story. Another beautiful day, a young lady named Zuri visited Umuzi. She needed to have her hair braided and was referred to Yasha's salon. Where Zuri arrived, Yasha explained the no mirror rule. Zuri found it odd and refused to adhere to it. She said, "Why can't I use a mirror in a hair salon? How will I see what you're doing on my hair to be sure you're actually getting the hairstyle right?" And Yasha replied, "You don't have to worry about the hairstyle. I always get my hairstyles right, and if you don't want to adhere to the rule, then I won't make your hair." Yasha stood firm and refused to braid Zuri's hair if she wouldn't follow the rule. As Zuri left, confused and curious. Zuri was a very adventurous and curious human being who always wanted to find out anything that she wasn't sure about. Her curiosity grew. She decided to find out why Yasha had such a strange rule. Zuri returned to Yasha's salon, apologized to her, Determined to learn the truths, she promised to follow the rule this time. As Yasha braided Zuri's hair, Zuri observed how fast and skilled Yasha was. Zuri heard a faint whisper as Yasha walked. She realized something unusual was happening. She spoke to Yasha. Yasha, what kind of skill do you have? You make hair so fast, even hairs that are supposed to take a day or two. And Yasha responded with a smile. It is just a talent I have. Her suspicions grew higher. She decided to investigate further without breaking Yasha's rule. The next day, Zuri visited an elderly woman in the neighboring town who had the gift of seeing things spiritually. Zuri narrated everything about Yasha's hair salon to the woman. The woman did her findings and revealed that Yasha was aided by an evil spirit. The spirits made her walk faster, because once Yasha starts making a customer's hair, the spirit was always present with Yasha to assist her in braiding the hair. That was why Yasha was able to make hair in a very short time. Zuri was shocked to hear this. The elderly woman also told Zuri that Yasha wasn't happy that she had an evil spirit that was braiding hairs for her customers, just that she was helpless and didn't have any way of breaking free from that curse. Because Yasha came across that spirit right from when she was born, Asha's mother took her to the evil spirit when she was an infant, and they both had a deal. That's where Yasha grows up, she would become an hairdresser, just so he can have the opportunity of touching so many women's hair to empower himself. Where Yasha grew up, she discovered this but couldn't do anything to set herself free from the evil spirits and had no choice than to continue like that, because she knew that if anyone looks into the mirror whenever she's making their hair, she was going to die. That was why Yasha was so strict with the mirror rule, because she didn't want to die. Zuri decided to help Yasha free herself from the evil spirits. She needed a plan. Zuri begged the elderly woman to help her save Yasha, because she didn't just want to go to Yasha's saloon to use a mirror and get her killed. She preferred to assist Yasha to break free from the evil spirits. The elderly woman agreed and prepared a special mirror that can trap the spirits. She gave it to Zuri and asked her to get to Yasha's saloon and start reflecting the mirror around. So when Zuri got to Yasha's saloon, she informed Yasha about her plan. Yasha was nervous, but trusted Zuri and her plan. She wanted to be free from the spirit's control. Yasha started reflecting the mirror around the saloon just like the elderly woman had said. The spirit realized what was happening and became furious, threatening Yasha's life. The special mirror began to glow, attracting the spirits, dragging the spirits. The spirits struggled to escape the mirror's pull, but Zuri's mirror was too strong. The spirit was finally trapped into the mirror, and Yasha was free. Immediately the spirit entered into the mirror. Zuri smashed the mirror on the floor into pieces. Yasha was so happy and joyful. She said to Zuri, "Thank you so much. I've been looking for help on how to break free from these evil spirits. Because it's not just about making hairs without mirror. The evil spirit also told me not to get married. That is why I haven't gotten married until now. It's not like suitors have not been coming, but the evil spirit refused me to get a husband. Thank you so much, Zuri. I owe you my life." Yasha was excited, and Zuri felt a relief and a sense of contentment that she was able to help Yasha out of the situation. Yasha's salon now allowed mirrors. Clients were curious but happy for Yasha. Yasha had a feast to celebrate the victory over the evil spirits. Her salon became even more popular, with clients respecting her new freedom. Zori and Yasha became close friends after that ordeal. That was how the story of Yasha, the hairstylist that doesn't want her clients to use a mirror, ended. It is important to respect people's rules and policy. However, any rules that doesn't sit well with you, it is very necessary you turn it down, no matter the juicy offer it has. Secondly, the story of Yasha taught everyone that bravery, friendship, and wisdom could overcome even the darkest challenges. Thirdly, it is also important to always speak out when we need help. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Oni of Oni Stories and Folktales, and please, if you haven't subscribed, please click on that subscribe button, turn on the notifications so when I post more interesting stories you'll be the first to get them. I really appreciate you. I do not take your support for granted. See you in my next video. Bye bye.
In the vibrant and bustling city of Lagos, there lived a young woman named Ada. She was beautiful, kind, and deeply cherished by her family and friends. Ada was the type of woman who carried grace in her every step, and her gentle heart was her greatest charm. However, despite her many virtues, Ada's love life had always been a bit of a mess. She longed for a partner who would love her unconditionally, someone she could build a life with. One day, while visiting her local church, she met a prophet who shared a mysterious revelation with her. "Ada," the prophet said, peering into her eyes, "your future husband's name will be Paul." The words were simple, but they resonated deeply with her. From that moment on, Ada held onto those words, letting them guide her as she navigated her relationships. For months, Ada met various men, but none were named Paul. She began to wonder if the prophecy would ever come true. Then, as if by fate, Ada met 5 different men named Paul, each of whom seemed to have stepped out of her dreams. The Pauls were all unique, each bringing something special to the table. Ada was excited but also overwhelmed. How could she know which Paul was the one the prophet had seen? The first Paul she met was Paul the musician. He was a tall, handsome man with dreadlocks that swung to the rhythm of his music. Paul had a soulful voice that captured the hearts of everyone who heard him sing. He played guitar with passion, often losing himself in the melodies he created. Ada first met him at a local cafe where he was performing. His music was enchanting, and when their eyes met, it was as if time stood still. Paul the musician was charming, creative, and had a carefree spirit. He would take Ada to music festivals, open mic nights, and impromptu jam sessions. His spontaneity was thrilling, and Ada found herself falling for the way he saw the world through the lens of his music. He wrote songs about her, each note filled with the emotions he couldn't quite put into words. Ada loved the way Paul made her feel alive, but she often wondered if his heart was truly in the relationship or if it was forever lost in the pursuit of his musical dreams. One evening, Paul invited Ada to a rooftop concert he was hosting. The view of the city was breathtaking, with the lights twinkling like stars beneath them. Paul dedicated a song to Ada, his eyes never leaving hers as he sang. Ada's heart swelled with joy, but as the night went on, she noticed that Paul was always surrounded by admirers. She couldn't help but feel like she was competing with the music and the fans for his attention. Paul was passionate but distant, and Ada longed for a connection that went beyond the stage. Next, Ada met Paul the chef, a man whose culinary skills were unmatched. He was charming, with an easy smile and a laugh that could light up a room. Paul owned a trendy restaurant in the heart of Lagos, where people flocked to taste his exquisite dishes. Ada's first encounter with him was at a food tasting event. Paul's confidence in the kitchen was magnetic, and Ada was instantly drawn to his nurturing nature. Their dates were always centered around food. Paul would surprise Ada with gourmet dinners, each course meticulously prepared with her preferences in mind. He would watch her eat, delighting in every expression she made as she tasted his creations. Ada loved the way Paul took care of her, always making sure she was well-fed and happy. Being with him felt like being wrapped in a warm, comforting embrace. But as much as Ada enjoyed their time together, she began to notice that Paul the chef was married to his work. His restaurant demanded most of his time, and even on their dates, he would be checking his phone, talking to his staff, or stepping away to handle a kitchen crisis. Ada often found herself sitting alone at his restaurant, watching Paul dash between the kitchen and the dining area. The warmth that she had initially felt began to wane, and Ada realized that she needed more than just the occasional dinner date to feel truly connected. Then there was Paul the businessman. He was a successful entrepreneur, running multiple companies across Lagos. Paul was always impeccably dressed in tailored suits, exuding confidence and power. He had a way of making Ada feel special, always arriving in style to pick her up for their dates. Their time together was filled with luxury, fine dining, shopping sprees, and weekends at luxurious resorts. Paul was generous, often showering Ada with gifts that made her feel like a queen. Ada enjoyed the glamorous lifestyle, but she quickly realized that Paul's world was one of constant motion. His phone never stopped ringing, and he was always caught up in meetings, deals, and business trips. Even when they were together, Paul's mind was often elsewhere, thinking about his next big move. Ada felt like she was just another appointment in his busy schedule, and although she appreciated his ambition, she craved more attention and intimacy. Paul the adventurer was the fourth man Ada dated. He was a free spirit who loved exploring the unknown. With him, Ada experienced things she never thought she would: rock climbing, scuba diving, and spontaneous road trips to hidden gems across Nigeria. Paul had an infectious zest for life that made Ada feel alive. His stories of travels to remote villages, jungles, and deserts were filled with excitement, and Ada found herself caught up in the whirlwind of his adventurous spirit. However, Paul's need for constant excitement often left Ada feeling exhausted. He was always planning his next trip, and Ada worried that his restless nature would never truly settle down. She loved the thrill, but she longed for moments of calm and stability that Paul couldn't seem to provide. The unpredictability that once excited her now left her feeling uneasy, and Ada began to question if she could keep up with his pace. The last Paul, Paul the teacher, was different from all the others. He was quiet, thoughtful, and kind. Paul worked at a local school, teaching young children with a passion that shone through in everything he did. Ada met him at a community service event, and their connection was immediate. Paul was the type of person who found joy in the simple things: a good book, a quiet walk, or a meaningful conversation. He listened to Ada in a way that no one else did, and his gentle nature made her feel truly seen and heard. Their dates were simple but meaningful. Paul would take Ada to bookshops, parks, and art galleries. They would spend hours talking about life, dreams, and their hopes for the future. Paul's steady presence was a calming force in Ada's life, and she found herself drawn to his quiet strength. However, Paul's reserved nature sometimes made Ada worry that his life was too predictable. She feared that his simplicity would eventually become monotonous, and she wondered if she needed more excitement to keep the spark alive. As Ada continued dating the 5 Pauls, she found herself at a crossroads. Each Paul brought something valuable to her life, but none of them seemed perfect. Ada began to feel overwhelmed by the weight of her decision. She compared their strengths and weaknesses, trying to discern which Paul was the one the prophet had foretold. But as time passed, Ada realized that no Paul was flawless. Each had his own set of complexities that made him unique. In a moment of introspection, Ada decided to take a step back and focus on herself. She took a break from dating and spent time reflecting on what she truly wanted in a partner. Ada realized that she wasn't just looking for the perfect Paul, but for someone who made her feel at home, who saw her heart, and who would stand by her through thick and thin. One evening, Ada found herself sitting with Paul the teacher at a quiet cafe. They were sharing a simple meal, talking about their dreams and fears. Paul spoke about his love for teaching, his desire to make a difference in the lives of his students, and his hopes of one day starting a family. Ada listened intently, feeling a deep sense of peace wash over her. For the first time, she wasn't focused on the excitement, the luxury, or the thrill. She was simply content in Paul's presence. As they continued talking, Ada realized that Paul the teacher was the man who made her feel most like herself. He didn't try to impress her with grand gestures or overwhelming charm. He was just Paul, kind, sincere, and dependable. Ada knew in her heart that she had found her true Paul. It wasn't the one who dazzled her with his talents, wealth, or adventurous spirit. It was the one who made her feel safe, understood, and loved. With her heart set, Ada ended things with the other Pauls, thanking them for the wonderful moments they had shared but explaining that she had found the right Paul for her. The other Pauls, though saddened, respected Ada's decision. They each moved on, finding their own paths and continuing their journeys. Ada and Paul the teacher began a beautiful relationship, filled with mutual respect, understanding, and a quiet, steady love. They spent their days enjoying the little moments, reading together, volunteering, and dreaming of the life they would build. Paul proposed to Ada in the same park where they had found clarity, and she said yes without hesitation, knowing she had made the right choice. Their wedding was a simple but joyous occasion, surrounded by friends, family, and loved ones who had watched their love story unfold. As Ada walked down the aisle, she couldn't help but smile at how far she had come. She had found her true partner, not in the dazzling lights of adventure or the allure of wealth, but in the steady embrace of a man who loved her for who she was. As the years passed, Ada and Paul built a beautiful life together. They welcomed children into their home, creating a family filled with love, laughter, and the kind of happiness that comes from truly being seen. They faced challenges, celebrated victories, and supported each other through every twist and turn of life. Ada never forgot the other Pauls, but she knew in her heart that she had chosen the one who was meant for her. Paul the teacher was her best friend, her confidant, and the love of her life. They lived happily ever after, proving that the right person isn't always the most glamorous or the most exciting, but the one who makes your heart feel at peace. And so, Ada's journey with the 5 Pauls taught her a valuable lesson, that love isn't about finding perfection, but about finding the person who sees you, loves you, and stands by you through all of life's ups and downs.